What's up, guys? Back again with another Premier League prediction show with this weekend's abbreviated Premier League fixture list, which has been put forward because they wanted to give some kind of a winter break to the players, because we all know these people are playing a lot of football. There are a lot of tournaments going on right now. The AFCON is starting, and you also have the Asian Cup. So this is also good for some of the players that aren't going to these tournaments to get some rest. But anyway, guys, it's your boy Izzy, and you know what to do. If you're new here, hit that like and the subscribe button to let YouTube and everybody else know that you are enjoying this content. And if you're new, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for your support. We're just over 100. Now let's get to about 150, and I'll get there with your support. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the fixture list for this weekend. So the first game is a game that anybody who loves football should watch. The jeopardy that comes with relegation is one of the things that makes me love European football so much. And if you do not know, Burnley are facing Luton Town in a game that should be very, very interesting to watch. Now, Burnley, we all know, is a team that tries to model itself after some of the best teams in the league by how they play possession football. On the other hand, you have Luton Town, who are pretty much your workman team. They try to play football to survive in the league, and they adapt themselves to how the other teams are playing so that they can try to stop them rather than to be proactive. Nothing wrong with that. So we're going to definitely have a clash of styles today. You know that Vincent Kompany is going to try and press. He's going to try and take hold of possession, and they are going to be at home. I am going to go for a Burnley 2-1 victory. Now, Luton Town have a very special place in my heart. I absolutely love seeing new teams in the league, teams that haven't been there in a very long time, pretty much since before I was born. But I do think that Luton Town, having lost the very first fixture when I saw them at Kenilworth Road, are probably going to buckle to Burnley. And not because I don't think that Luton Town are good enough to get something out of this game, but I just do think that the way they have been playing of late is to try and stop the opponent rather than to be proactive in games. Now, when they play at home, they're usually very good, but Burnley have started to try and click into gear now. I know it's taken them 20 plus games to be able to do that, but I do think that Luton Town might find it a little hard in this game. This is not ruling out any draw as well, because I was actually battling with that before this game. I thought that this could easily be a 2-all draw or something of the sort, but I do think that just that slight home advantage is going to propel Burnley. So I'm going to have them taking this game 2-1. Next up, we have a London derby of two teams that both played in the Carabao Cup during the week. Both of them actually lost as well. Now, Chelsea have a dire need to win this game, simply because I can see Pochettino struggling if he does not take anything out of this game, and God forbid if they don't take anything out of the Middlesbrough game. Now, I am going to have them winning this game 2-0. Now, there are a couple of reasons for that. One, I think Chelsea definitely need to come out and play. Now, if these players are going to play for their manager, as we always hear in the media, they are definitely going to come out and ball against Fulham. Now, Fulham, on the other hand, are a team that are very good on the counterattack. We saw them do that against Liverpool to great effect. They also have this very uncanny ability to try and hold on to leads pretty much until close to the end of the game. Now, depending on the resolve that they're going to have, and depending on how tired their legs are from a very difficult game against Liverpool at Anfield, they might be able to either hold on to whatever lead that they have in this game if they are able to go ahead, or to crumble early on. Now, Chelsea are going to need to respond, and it is for that reason that I have them winning 2-0. Also, because when you look at managerial history, Pochettino has a very good record against Fulham. Now, I do know that on the day, just as they say, derbies, usually anything can happen. But in this game, I am going to go with history, because I do think that Chelsea tend to have a very good record against Fulham, and sometimes some teams just know how to beat other teams. Now, Fulham also do have a pretty terrible record against Chelsea, so it would be hard to bet against Chelsea. And that, coupled with the fact that they need to respond after that very dire performance at Middlesbrough, I'm going to have them winning this game 2-0. And then next up, we have Newcastle United against Manchester City. I'm going to have Man City winning this game 2-1 for a couple of reasons. One, Newcastle are just not that team from last season. And I think a lot of times when we watch Newcastle play, sometimes in the back of our head, we keep on having this image of that free-flowing side that didn't care about the opposition last season. Now, they are struggling with injuries this season, and they are also struggling for form. They have a couple of players coming back, so that should help them out. But I just think that Manchester City is starting to click into gear now, and you have people like Kevin De Bruyne back, and you have Erling Haaland back. And so with all of those things coupled together, I find it very hard to see Newcastle getting anything out of this game. And like I say all the time, anything is possible in football. St. James's Park is one of the most difficult places on its day to go there. And even without it being their day, St. James's Park is always rocking. One of two clubs that I am extremely afraid of going to as an Arsenal fan, because St. James's Park and Anfield are just two places that definitely do not care about whichever opposition is coming in, and they will back their team all the way through this game. But I still find it very hard to see Manchester City dropping any points, and especially when you see them almost starting to zero in with these last 18 or 19 games, it's very hard to see Manchester City dropping too many points, and I don't see them dropping any in this one. So I'm going to have them winning this game 2-1. And then next up, we have Everton against Aston Villa, which is going to be the first game on Sunday. I'm going to have this game as a 2-2 draw. I was initially going to go with an Aston Villa 2-1 win, but I do think that Everton are good enough to try and get something out of this game. And even the more I think about it, the more I think that Everton could actually win this game. Aston Villa don't have the worst away record, but they also don't have the best away record. They are very formidable at home, but they are always pretty shaky away from home. And of their 5 wins, I can think of about 3 of them being the ones that they get because the other team was teetering on missing a lot of chances and possibly not putting away what they're supposed to do. Now, you compare that to Everton, who are very good away from home, surprisingly, but are not the best at home. And that is why I kind of just dropped my expectations down for them to 2-2 draw, despite me thinking that maybe Aston Villa could possibly nick it. I just think that Everton have only won 2 home games all season, and that's not the best record to be trying to go up against a team that's chasing for a top 4 berth or quite potentially a title. And so I'm just going to have this as a draw. I think that Sean Dyche is going to be able to counterattack whatever Aston Villa is going to do. And one thing about Everton is that they, on their day, can defend, and they can be very dogged if they want to get a result. Aston Villa, on the other hand, do struggle away from home, but I think their struggles are slightly overblown. And I do think that they will cause Everton tons of problems, but I do think that eventually it's just going to end up as a draw. So I'm going to have this as a 2-2 draw. And then finally, Manchester United against Tottenham, a game that is steeped in history, has a number of very interesting fixtures. One that comes to mind for me was when Tottenham were leading 3-0 against a Manchester United side that had your David Beckhams, that had your Roy Keanes. And by the end of the second half, Manchester United had come back and won that game 5-3. Very interesting game that I remember from back in the day. I'm going to have this one as a 3-2 victory for Manchester United. Now, Tottenham are doing good things. They're doing big things in the transfer window. I'm going to talk about their signings in another video, but I do think that their 2 signings so far are going to be very interesting. One that seems to have a lot of problems, you know, with the fact that he's a former Chelsea player and the fact that Timo Werner was not the most prolific person when he was in the Premier League. The other one in Dragusin, who's a player that was wanted by Bayern Munich and a player that promises a lot. With Ange Postecoglou and what he's managed to do for his Tottenham team this season, I have tons of respect for everything that he's been able to achieve. Whatever he's been telling his players, they are responding very well for it. He's a very personable person. He seems to know how to manage and have very good in-game tactics as well. His haphazard way of approaching games sometimes might be a little questionable, but it's his first season, and I can't blame him for trying to experiment and find out which formations work best for him, which players he trusts, and I think that's pretty much what he's been able to do so far very well this season. In this game, I just think that Old Trafford still, despite all of the problems Manchester United have, history speaks a lot to some of these games, much in the same way as they were able to take something away from the Aston Villa game. Tottenham are able to go there and win. We know that they already beat them early on this season, but I just think that Manchester United is one of those teams that on their day, despite how bad they play, that name of Manchester United is just so strong, and it tends to push them past the barrier of exhaustion or or depletion or injuries. So I am going to have them winning this game 3-2. I think that Tottenham will definitely give them a run for their money. Some questions about the fact that, Son's not going to be playing. I think this is going to be Van de Ven's first game back. They obviously still don't have Madison. So some questions about how Tottenham are going to line up. But at the end of the day, I am just still going to back Manchester United for this one. I'm going to have them win this game 3-2. Anyway, guys, that's going to be the end for this video and for the fixtures this weekend. Let me know if you think something is going to pop up. Am I wrong about any of the predictions that I've made in this weekend? But anyway, guys, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for the privilege of your time, and I will catch you in the next video. It's been your boy, Izzy. Peace.